Start with on the left because it kind of ran through. It looks like a EKG. So I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, do it again and do maybe a little wider.
Karen, you're loading the pen on your brush. You always just keep your brush going the exact same way. No, it doesn't matter.
No, I just don't want to scrub.
Right.
Like, I might even go around like
okay.
this.
Just making sure that I wasn't doing something with the purple brush.
Good question.
I didn't really.
What? Try
What's
again.
this slow?
Try again. Practice. Okay, now, one thing you might be doing, y'all might be going all the way across with the color. Okay? Notice I did up and down with the color.
Oh.
I did up and down with the color, and then I'm going away from the darkest color that I laid in. If you do this and go across like this and then blur it, you're going to get a line. See, that won't work because you'll have that original line. So knowing how to lay in color, how to control the direction of the color, if you want it to change and soften, you add water. You also might have to wipe off some of the initial load on your brush. So having a paper towel handy to where you can quickly lighten it up, it is important. And you can tell if it's like this first one I did, see, I can go across it and I'm not bleeding, I'm not smearing. This last one still has shine to it. If it's shiny, it's still too wet to close your journal. And if you are real, if you have to be careful sometimes things look dry, but when you close a journal and it's smashed flat, it might not be as dry as you thought it was. So if you close a journal, if you have to close your journal before you want to, you might have a spare sheet of watercolor paper or a piece of wax paper or something in there, just so that you don't mess up your pages.
Wax paper.
And just something that, it won't stick to wax paper. But even an index card will help protect your paper. Just something in between that can absorb that. Okay, now here's another way. If I want to create a soft edge, maybe I want all of it soft. Here I had a hard edge and I went to soft. Now I might want it all soft. Well, this is when you're going to start with wet paper. If you want soft edges, you've got to have more water. Just like how we added water to create that soft transition. If you didn't have a soft transition, it would have been a line, and then another line. And if we didn't see how dry that is, I mean, you can do it dry, but that's not what you wanted to do. Okay, you got to go fix that. It bothers me. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to wet our paper. So clean your brush, and this is going to be just water. So I want to look and stay within a certain area, and I'm squeezing my brush and just kind of making a rectangle. I don't think you can see. Okay, see how it's shiny? Shiny? All right, so I'm going to add some water across here.
We're going the whole way. Okay.
I'm always leave an edge. I don't go all the way to the edge of the paper.
No, but I mean, we're going basically.
Yeah, can you see the shine now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm going to go to a dark color just so you can see it. And if I want to lay in something or paint something, I want a soft edge because that paper is wet. It's going to bleed out. I'm going to add a little bit more water. So
Now, are you squeezing at all?
some.
When you were just doing the water?
Oh, when I'm doing the water, yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay, because I wasn't getting.
Yes, you have to squeeze to get a flow.
Okay.
And so now, I mean, I'm just coming in, even with a different color. I don't know that I have enough. It might not even be wet enough for that. But when you add wet on wet, this is wet paint on wet surface. Now see, these aren't bleeding much because it's drying so fast. So if you want it to really flow, see how quickly that paper dried? Now that red doesn't even hardly move when I lay it in. So this is again, if I want a soft edge and I want something to blur, you have to get it wet. It has to be shiny. If it's not shiny, it's okay. See, this is wetter, and how this just bleeds out a little bit. Kind of sounds bad. But it's another way to create a soft edge. Wet on wet. And if you want to make a note on that, you can get your Sharpie, because it's got a fairly bold point. I'm just going to write wet, well, so you won't even be able to see it.
Wet on wet.
This isn't a Sharpie, but it'll wet on wet. It gives you a soft edge or a blur. Soft edge or a blur. There's times when you're painting out things outside, and when you're painting something distance, when you're working on landscapes, if you make that far distant hill hard edge, it's going to pull your eye in and flatten your drawing or your painting. If you make the distant hill or trees blurred, it's going to read distance. Things that are up close need to be in sharp or hard edge focus. Things that are in the distance would be soft. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So learning how to control your brush will allow you to be able to paint what you want. So let's see, I'm controlling the edge of your brush, hard to soft, lay in paint, soften one side. I'm just reading my notes. Wet on wet technique, less control, more water. Yeah. And it's just what I just said. A soft edge is good for showing distance and blending one color into another without a harsh line. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to turn the page, but it's okay because this isn't sopping wet. If yours is sopping wet, you might want to put a paper towel in between, or you could open it up if you numbered your page and then you know which one's next. But that's an option if you want to. That makes sense? Yeah, it's so warm today, isn't it?
And it's going down
No,
to the
I'm actually
20s.
drawing mine.
Oh.
Really? Tonight?
Oh, by next week,
comfortable.
it's gonna be 3 nights in the 20s.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's high is 55.
Yeah,
Really?
it's dropping a lot.
But we need it.
20 pounds. 20
I'm
pounds.
gonna go out and do
20
reading,
degrees.
though, and
Less.
I did that yesterday.
Okay, any questions so far? Anybody need to stand up and walk around? Y'all have sat the whole time. Stand up and stretch. Stand up and stretch.
I did yoga this morning.
It's fun going
I
back
walked-
to school and it's fun
I
stuff.
do.
No math, no English.
Well, when I walk with Brad, I walk at 6:30.
No science.
When I walk with Nancy, this my 78-year-old friend, or she's 79. I walk it with right through there. I walk at 8. I go pick her up at 8.
When you make the note about the transparent and the opaque, in the middle one, was that semi-transparent? Is it a diagonal half or? just-
Diagonal half
Okay.
that's solid.
Okay. One of the ladies in the activities at Carlisle today had gone over to a place, when I think of the name, and she blew glass.
Oh yeah, there's a studio downtown.
Yeah, on Riverside.
Yeah.
Yeah, she blew the wine glass without the stem, and the next one she didn't. She did a paperweight, and they were beautiful.
I think that would be so
Oh,
fun to
they
do that
doesn't-
sometime.
Kind of. I think they've been here a while, but his section is called Blazing Paddles. And her section, his wife is Asian, and hers is something else.
What did I just do?
But altogether, they're called.
Oh,
Okay.